Hey guys, this video is a little different from my usual content. I'm playing some Minecraft in the survival world I started up a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to be building around this village I'm in while I talk about something important to me. I'm sure most of whatever audience decided to watch will quickly turn away because I'd like to talk about Jesus. But before everyone finds another video to watch, anyone that doesn't want to hear it, hear me out. Because odds are, what I'd like to say is directed for you. And maybe you're already a believer that stumbled across this video, but you know people that don't. If you want to, share this with them as well. I understand that there are a lot of non-believers in the world when it comes to God, especially Jesus and the Christian ministry, whether through other religions or atheism. And as a young man that has very recently grown much stronger in my faith towards God and Jesus, it does genuinely hurt to see so much disbelief, which is a weird feeling. But I understand a simple video like this, of just me talking with Minecraft in the background, can't convert a non-believer into a full-blown catalyst of the faith. I hope I can at least maybe nudge you in the right direction. To start things off on a formal note, I'm Christian, both in name and in religion, and this is my testimony. A year ago, I was at what I consider to be the lowest point of my life. I played it cool from the outside, but on the inside, I was stuck very deep in lustful ways. Stuck yearning for love when I was in no place to be in a relationship. And I filled the gaps with drinking, smoking, and dark places on the internet, which I'm sure you can take a wild guess what that might be. It was a long time I spent in this dark pit before finally deciding that I needed to get out. So I started reading my Bible, praying, and really finding God. Because up until then, he was just an acquaintance that I'd meet up with at church every Sunday. After a month of daily reading and prayer, and truly getting close with God, I stopped falling into sin as much. I got the girlfriend and the love I was yearning for all those years, and life itself just felt better in every way. Now, not everything has lasted as I continued my faith journey. My girlfriend and I broke up, and I still find myself caught by my sins, but the pit isn't remotely as deep as it was before. Regardless of all of that, though, God has remained a constant in my life since then. But what does any of that have to do with a non-believer maybe finding God? Well, if what I shared doesn't seem to move you in some way, my guess is you don't believe in the Sky Daddy, as some of you call him. Maybe your mind thinks with science and logic. And logically, there is no God because science explains everything from the creation of life to the death of matter and everything in between. So why should some made-up ghost in the sky get in the way with that? The numbers add up, the math checks out, that's that. What if you dig deeper? Well, how did this thing happen? You find your answer. Well, how did that thing happen? You find your answer again. Well, how did that thing happen? This goes on and on until eventually there's no answer. What then? You haven't discovered it yet? Open your mind a little and consider that there is a creator, one God, and he's Jesus Christ. If that doesn't seem to convince you still, look at the mountains of evidence we do have for Jesus Christ, or other important characters, locations, and stories from the Bible that we've uncovered. Between the written manuscripts of those that testified Jesus Christ was a real man, who died under a real Pontius Pilate with the landmarks to fit it, logically, you would know that God has some legitimacy. Not to mention the finding of Noah's Ark near Mount Ararat, where the Bible said it came to ground at. Not to mention the finding of the rock outside of where Sodom and Gomorrah stood, where Lot's wife turned to stone, that has traces of carbon in the center of it. Not to mention the finding of the rock that Moses split open in the desert that water rushed forth from. Not to mention the Egyptian chariots, weapons, and other artifacts found at the bottom of the Red Sea, where Moses split the sea for the Israelites to cross from Egypt into the Promised Land. And not to mention the apostles who were all martyred for the resurrection that you all call a lie. And nobody dies for a lie. If the logic doesn't seem to convince you, I have no other argument for you. And who's to say, maybe you're right, and there is no God. And if you're right, that's fine. But what if you're wrong? And your eternity after this world is spent in hell just because you didn't open your mind up to Jesus Christ? Well, maybe you're one of the people who doesn't believe in hell and that death is an eternal sleep. Or maybe even worse, you do believe in hell, but you think that it's going to be a party down there. If you believe in either of those, you will be in for a harsh awakening after death. Because hell is eternal suffering, and that is it. And consider eternity for a moment. Really consider eternity. Say you died today, and in 3026, 1,000 years from now, you will still be suffering in hell. And just to give the scale for time here, imagine all the time and things that have happened since 1026. Humanity was still living in medieval times then. Now imagine when the sun dies in our galaxy, which is projected to be 5 to 7 billion years, anywhere between there. You will still be suffering in hell. And now you might think, well, the sun died, so surely the human race died too. That's the end of our story. That's, maybe for the human race, but you will still be suffering in hell. Even as the universe carries on. And maybe in some far-off, distant future, the universe even dies. You will still be suffering in hell. Well, surely that's the end of everything then, you say. Because the universe is gone. Humanity is definitely gone. There's nothing else. You will still be suffering in hell. And you will still be suffering in hell for forever after that. And you won't be any closer to the end of it than you were from the start. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what else to say. Because all said and done, you have the choice to follow or to not follow Jesus Christ. But I pray that these words are considered, at the very least, they're considered for your sake.